Thank you. So thank you and welcome to the adult night session. So actually, we are trying to infuse some very difficult topic, budgeting, right? So before I get started, actually, we introduce ourselves. So I'm Yuki Hattori, today's host, the facilitator. I currently work for GitHub as an architect, and also I'm president of the InnerSource Commons Foundation. And I'm Mr. Bjarte, the chairman of Beyond Budgeting Roundtable. So please introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, that's basically me. I'm the chairman of the Beyond Budgeting Roundtable. Thank you.
Thanks. And then Professor Shimizu from Waseda University. Please introduce yourself briefly.
Hi, I'm Professor Shimizu, and my major is management accounting, especially the budgeting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So actually, before dive deeper into the discussion, I'd like to set a premise. So actually, I assume that so many people joined the morning session to know about the Beyond Budgeting, but actually I try to recap the essentials. Actually, there is a book about Beyond Budgeting. So this is the book from Mr. Bjarte, and then also Professor Shimizu translated into Japanese. So the essence is actually we accept traditional budgeting as given. So I will start from questioning everyone. So are you questioning the existing of budgeting, traditional budgeting, right? So actually, traditional budgeting creates inefficiency and illogical, but actually, we believe in traditional budgeting. And then it's probably time to rethink about traditional budgeting, how we should change that. And then probably this is also introduced in the morning session. So Beyond Budgeting is not a solution, but more like a mindset. So it's about the challenge itself. And then actually there are several problems for traditional budgeting, and I'd like to introduce 3 things from the book. So the first one is trust issue. So actually budget exists because people don't trust people, especially management don't trust people. And then actually this will brew some atmosphere of distrust, and then distrust becomes normalized, right? And then, especially tech companies build multi-layer control mechanism, department to department. It's a vertical thing. But actually, at the same time, in a horizontal, there are so many layers of budgeting. And then they want to control employees. Then there's no transparency. And then cost management. And then actually, it's interesting one. And traditional budget also function as both ceiling and a floor. So actually, everybody probably experienced that. Let's use every single allocation of budget because we need to secure next year's budget, right? So this is inefficient, and also we need optimal level of budgeting, accurate budgeting. So spending everything is not optimal. And periodicity. So actually, today is Scrum regional Scrum gathering. So everybody, or maybe experience some sort of agile methodology like Scrum. And then Scrum has, for instance, if you practice Scrum with 3 weeks cadence, for that team, it doesn't make any sense that you need to report periodically, like quarterly or maybe half year, yearly. So because your product are running in a Scrum way, but company requires, for instance, quarterly budget allocation or quarterly reporting, it doesn't make any sense. Then, Beyond Budgeting come into play. So there is a 6 leadership principle from the Beyond Budgeting. So but actually, these 6 principles are very natural for us. So we always talk about our customer. We always talk about our organization, how we can cultivate a strong sense of belongings. And then autonomy itself is very important to move fast. And then transparency is apparently very important to brew the atmosphere of trust. So how we should change that? So let's start with Professor Shimizu's presentation about the Beyond Budgeting in Japan. So over to you.
Okay, thank you. Let's get started. But actually, I'm not good. I'm not good at speaking English, so I speak very slowly. Please forgive me. Okay, so the prize, please slide up. Okay, anyway, the Beyond Budgeting was born in maybe the Nordic culture. But while I don't believe the introduction of Beyond Budgeting has any particular cultural characteristics, I would like to discuss one difference between Japanese and Western management style here. So next, please. So there are two management styles, top-down and bottom-up. You know the top-down and bottom-up style, but in Japan, the third style of management. Next, please. So this is middle up-down. As you know very well, Japan features a management philosophy called middle up-down management, which was advocated by the late Professor Ikujiro Nonaka, described in his book, The Knowledge Creating Company. This all-employee management approach effectively balanced the top-down and bottom-up style. And okay, so the first, I should say, the strategy is not a one-way street from the top down. As look at the green arrow, the arrows indicate it is a circular dialogue triggered and managed by the middle managers. The managers receive the intended strategy or the philosophy or purpose from the top, but doesn't stop there. Through the strategic tension, they push inside back up to the top, ensuring that the strategic process is constantly moving and evolving. The manager box represents the crucial point where corporate vision meet market truth. The top provide the what and why, what we should do, what we should be. And the front line provided the how and is, what is. The middle manager synthesized these two opposite forces, translating abstract ideas into clear, actionable terms for the field, while simultaneously framing field-level challenges as strategic issue for top management. The ultimate result of this process is realization of emergent strategy. By allowing for dynamic strategic realignment, where top management listens to the tension and adjusts the plan, our company's strategies become a living organism. What starts as a headquarter-led intention is refined into a highly successful market-grounded realized strategy that no top-down budget control over have predicted. And we could see these concepts in many Japanese companies before. However, my findings show that many companies are becoming increasingly top-down. Next, please. So top-down management can be effective if the headquarters possesses a deep understanding of each division's strengths and weakness, can accurately forecast market trends, and collaborate closely with those divisions. But now, it is VUCA time. So in reality, however, many headquarters lack such capabilities and circumstances and volatile. And actually, in Japan, you know, there are very small numbers of Japanese companies that have the FP&A. So this meant that resources for executing strategic management accounting were extremely limited. I believe this structural deficiency is one of the factors that contributed to the Japanese so-called lost 3 decades. In the recent trends of purpose-driven or sustainability management, top leadership is expected to define the long-term direction and instill a clear purpose throughout the organization. Middle managers must deeply internalize this purpose, communicating it to the front line while collaborating with teams to set goals and action plans that enhance corporate value. This shift revitalized the middle up-down management model and, in my view, has led to the emergence of beyond budgeting thinking in Japan. And also, I believe adopting middle up-down model is key to introducing beyond budgeting model within Japanese companies. The recent situation shows significant change. We are seeing a rise in firms that are either formally integrating beyond budgeting or executing its fundamental principles by focusing on agility and decentralization. Organizations such as Hiroshima Bank, Ashikaga Bank, and Hachijuni Bank, and also Mizuho Bank, and other companies represent this new frontier, demonstrating highly effective management model that align perfectly with the beyond budgeting philosophies. Next, please. Given the program inherent in traditional budgeting, the core strengths of beyond budgeting lie in its adaptability and the creation of autonomous organization through the delegation of authorities. To address the issue where divisions set low targets, achieving them without actually contributing to corporate value, fundamental transformation of the performance management system is required. So this is in my opinion. I'm not sure Mr. Bogsnes agrees with it or not, but it's just my opinion. The performance management system must be changed. So the fundamental transformation of the performance management system is required. Specifically, linking reward and promotions directly to the achievement of financial targets often leads to biased decision-making and poor judgment among managers. Consequently, some companies have emerged that completely decouple financial results from compensation and promotions. Instead, they place the customer at the center, establishing detailed action plans focused on doing the right things for the customers. That is enhancing customer value, ultimately enhances their own value, sacrificing customer value to boost their own profits will never last, right? In this model, evaluation is based solely on the result of these actions. Remarkably, this movement is taking place within the banking industry. Traditionally, the very epitome of top-down and command and control management. Below, I will examine the case of Hiroshima Bank very shortly. Hiroshima Bank had originally stated customer-centric business operation as part of its value. However, the fundamental conflict emerged between their customer-centric operations and the traditional performance system like budgeting systems based on financial results, triggering the typically dysfunctions of budgeting. In response, the bank moved away from evaluating employees based on the achievement of cascaded financial targets and began assessing actions aimed at enhancing corporate value, not corporate value, but customer value. Believing that doing customer-centric operation would ultimately enhance both customer value and the bank's own corporate value. Teams at the branch level engaged in discussions to define which specific actions truly benefit the customer. Furthermore, they integrated medium to long-term perspective into their planning to avoid the pitfall of short-termism. Following a 4-year period of performance management system reform, the practice of top-down financial target cascading was fully eliminated in 2023. Branches were empowered to define their own target performance levels and corresponding action plans. So they have free to decide the level, the target level, and what action to do. And I consider this shift to be a clear manifestation of Beyond Budgeting philosophy in practice. Okay, okay. So this slide. No, next one. Next one, number 7. Thank you. So first, the Hiroshima Bank abolished the cascading of financial targets by eliminating top-down cascaded profit quotas. The bank successfully abolished gaming, the manipulation of figures to meet arbitrary goals. And branches now set their own targets for key metrics, for example, business loans, investment trust, insurance balances, and corporate solution fees, etc., etc. While these are shared with headquarters, it does not intervene or revise them. Instead, targets are refined through peer discussions and by benchmarking against the similar-sized branches to ensure overall growth. Each branch develops its own action plan based on its specific market. Teams break down profit goals into meaningful actions and discuss them with every staff member. This is built on the philosophy that doing the right thing for the customer will ultimately benefit the bank. So what is the role of the central office or headquarters? Headquarters moved from evaluator to partner in planning and execution. The headquarters has transitioned from a traditional evaluator to supporter. involved in both the formulation and achievement of branch action plans. This support structure includes 7 dedicated staff, only 7 dedicated staff members within the sales planning department. And number 5, bonus system is also changed. The bonus allocation for senior branch manager is linked to the bank's overall profit. That's it. And for others, it is based on the achievement of their action plans. There is no link with the attainment of the financial result. Okay, and next slide, please. So final slide. So I put the case of Hiroshima Bank on the chart in slide 2. It looks like slide 8. On the left side, the manager translates purpose into daily actions. So it's like ambition to action. On the right, in the center, those actions create emergent strategy. On the right, headquarters scales that success. This cycle is the new decision-making systems. In this model, headquarters no longer dictates what to sell or how much to sell. Instead, their new strategy is to catch the emergent strategy from the front line, define it, and dynamically realign the whole banks to support it. Strategy is no longer a fixed plan. It's a continuous response to the field. And in the center, you can see the emergent strategy. This is where the emergent strategy is born through intense dialogue between the front line and managers. Once a great idea emerged, headquarters catches it and uses the right side alone dynamic strategic realignment to scale that success across the entire bank. And headquarters' new strategy is no longer a top-down command. It is about strategic realignment, meaning they act as a platform to scale up the best practice born on the front line across the entire bank. And the branch manager, I know you dislike the word of manager, but leader. So the branch manager does not impose numerical quotas on frontline employees. Instead, they discuss what creates customer value and how to execute it. In other words, branch manager becomes leaders, not manage, but lead people who guide frontline actions. And now the frontline people have the autonomy to decide everything, but autonomy to take actions for customers, autonomy turns employee from order taken into value creator. As a result, when the financial targets set by branches were combined, they met the headquarters target. Furthermore, the result exceeded the target. By delegating goal-setting authority to branches, encouraging them to take the right action for the customers to increase customer value. And again, providing appropriate support from headquarters, Hiroshima Bank successfully transformed its management model. about outlines Hiroshima Bank's shift to beyond budgeting. So now it has no budget. Additionally, as I told before, Ashikaga Bank, Hachijuni Bank, and Mizuho Bank have adopted the concept of beyond budgeting. Detailed maybe compiled in the new book, my new book, to be published shortly. My explanation ends here. Thank you.
Thank you. So now, Mr. Bjarte, so what's your take? Actually, what's your reaction for Japan market and also the case of Hiroshima Bank? Have you seen any interesting topics?
Well, first of all, I find it a very interesting and fascinating case, and it is great to see another Japanese case. And it's interesting that it is in the banking industry, because that is actually where it started out 30 years, in a Swedish bank that I talked about this morning. So, so that's great. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. So actually, everybody probably questioning where is the first step, to be honest. So maybe probably people consider that, or Hiroshima Bank has kind of uniqueness, or maybe if you are in a startup or if you are in a manufacturing industry, probably they may think that, oh, we are different. But actually, I don't think so. So what's your thinking about in that situation?
Now, you know, everybody thinks that they are different, but the fact is that, you know, this budget problem list that I was showing this morning, if you were here, everybody recognized those problems, independent of its banking or manufacturing. It doesn't matter, private sector, public sector. So this is a very universal problem. And also solutions can be relatively universal, independent of what kind of business you're in. It really doesn't matter that much, but everybody thinks they are special.
Yeah, so it's your third visit in Japan, right? So in a way, actually, you have traveled all over the world. So have you ever seen any Japan-specific features or maybe interesting characteristic, and then that may we should consider in thinking of beyond budgeting?
Again, I don't think there's anything special with any country as such, because this is very universal. I think what organizations in Japan struggle with is exactly the same as what organizations and companies in other parts of the world struggle with. Mm-hmm. So, but I guess I didn't answer the first part of your previous question. I mean, how to get started. Yeah. And as I said this morning, make sure first that there is a solid case for change, that everybody agrees on what kind of problems we are trying to solve and also what we want to move towards. You cannot do anything before that's clear. Having done that, start out with this separation of the budget purposes. Target setting, forecasting, and resource allocation. And once you have done that and you start to improve each one, you are on a beyond budgeting journey. So that's where to start. Number one, case for change. Number two, separate. And then you are on the journey.
Sure, thank you. So, and then I will ask you a question to the audience. So how many of you are working in management? なんかマネージャーとか役員とかマネジメントの方どのぐらいいらっしゃいますか? Could you please raise your hand if you are in management? Oh, thank you. So probably people consider that budgeting is, management thing, right? So as an individual contributor or as an engineer, maybe, we think that we are just a little gray piece of paper and we can't help anything, right? So how we should change the mindset to change the enterprise-wise or maybe corporate-wise cultural change?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is not just about budgeting and challenging budgeting. It is about challenging traditional management, of which budgeting is a central part. But, you know, when it comes to, a lot of people tell me, well, I'm not in management, and how can I kind of influence? But by understanding what beyond budgeting is, you have then the insight to challenge, for instance, your finance colleagues about the stupidity of those of this process, and maybe they start to think, and maybe they again can start to challenge others in the company. And you know, most revolutions, they do not start at the top. They start often out, yeah, and kind of builds its way up. And we've seen many examples of this starting in subsidiaries or smaller units and then growing up throughout the organization. Sometimes it's the other way around, and of course in the end top management needs to be on board. But if all change should start with executives, then we have a serious problem.
Or the question is, how can we influence that changes?
Yeah. Again, by using the insight and the knowledge that you hopefully have got today into what this is, to again share it with colleagues, others, talk about it, and the more people who are talking about this, the more likely it is that something will happen.
I see. So do you have any cases? Of course, Professor Shimizu, if you have some knowledge, please jump in. So do you see any, do you remember some cases which is very successful in transforming the culture?
Yeah.
It is not the Beyond Budgeting case, but sexy chemical companies case. The sexy chemical companies have the, how can I say, the, なんだっけな、contributing sustainability products. So it is same as the Hiroshima Bank. So what is required for the society or なんだっけ、yeah, society. So they make the very good products for the society. It came back to the sexy chemical company as a profit. So make the very good product for the social value. And but actually this is very hard way. As you know, the products for the good product good for social. What is that? So top management, the CEO and leaders talk to what to do, what should we do, what should we make again and again and again to the middle manager and front manager. And after that, step by step, the frontline employee understand the concept and start to change. The organization, the thinking way is changing.
Mr. Bjarte, do you have any case now experiences, or maybe have you ever heard any good cases?
I have heard a lot of good cases, and I also presented some this morning. Can I quickly add on a case I didn't talk about? This is from the public sector in Norway. It is the organization that is responsible for pensions, unemployment benefits, and so on. They have 12 contact centers across Norway. And they started out with doing some pilots. In 2 of these contact centers, the message was, you will have no cost budget for next year. Spend what is necessary to do a good job, but not more. And when the year was over, it was an experiment. They could check out the results. And this was the first year of the pandemic. So everybody had lower external cost, no one had higher cost reductions than the 2 pilots, minus 50% in both. So then they got braver. Next year it was 6 of 12 centers, and today all of these contact centers are running without cost budgets, and it works wonderful. It's kind of cracking this myth that cost will explode if you take away the cost budget. Very often we see the very opposite.
Cool, thank you. So the next question is, what are the key points or concerns that organizations should consider when thinking about beyond budgeting? So actually we asked about how to influence and how to start, but actually I'd like to ask you what to stop tomorrow. So actually when you consider the time frame of tomorrow, today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, actually changing the existing framework is very hard, right? It takes time. However, if audience can bring something back today and then to apply tomorrow, so what should they stop doing?
I think on kind of day one, it's not the question of necessarily that you're going back or trying to stop something directly, but go back and talk about this to your colleagues. Get them interested. Show them the book, maybe get them to read the book so they can learn more, because the more people you are in the organization that understands the problems with traditional management and is keen on doing something different, the more likely it is that it will happen. So you need to create that awareness that there are serious problems and that there are solutions. So start by spreading the word. And then stopping doing things will follow later on when the company is starting this journey.
Sure, thank you. So spreading the word of Beyond Budgeting. Yes. So actually this is a very, very interesting book. Actually, I'm an architect in GitHub and I'm primarily focused on technology. However, it makes sense. So actually, unfortunately, it's a little bit harder to get this book in Japan recently, but actually you must find it in Japan in some second-hand store or maybe in some selected dedicated specific academic organic bookstore. So the next question is, I've already asked about that. So how should we deal with these challenges? So actually I'd like to ask more on a mindset thing. So what kind of mindset is most important, for instance, in the leadership principles? Or what thing is we are needed to being capable of? So like I'm showing the leadership principles.
Well, mindset is important because this is very much about changing how we think. That is much more important and much more challenging than to changing what we do. Because when it comes to changing what we do, there is no rocket science in Beyond Budgeting. What we recommend of alternatives, it is not that difficult. But if you try to change what you do with the same old mindset, then you will not be successful. And when I say change how we think, it means that you need to rethink the myth that employees can't be trusted, and you need to rethink the myth that the future is predictable and plannable. If you can change your mind on those two, then you are ready to get started. If not, don't even think about it. That would be my advice.
Sure, thank you. And then actually, from Professor Shimizu's presentation, there's several approaches to take. So from the top-down approach, bottom-up approach, and also in Japan, typically middle, up-down approaches are taken sometimes. So where is a good starting point? Of course, it depends on the company and the corporate culture and the industry. But actually, if you have some tendency,
I think we are seeing all kind of approaches. We see bottom up, we see it top down. Sometimes it starts with middle management. It depends, and there is no right or wrong. The most important is to get started. But again, as I said, at the end, at some point, top management must of course be on board. But it doesn't always need to start at the top.
okay, probably the solution is, I mean, spreading the word of Beyond Budgeting and bring your CEO to the conference to hear the voices of Mr. Bjarte. Okay, I see. Do you think, do you have any additional topics to share today? So actually we have only 3 minutes left. If you have some commentary or maybe additional recommendation for the audience to realize Beyond Budgeting.
Not beyond and I might be repeating myself, that this is about more than budgets, despite that name, Beyond Budgeting. It is about changing traditional management. And that is why it makes it hard, because this is not about kind of putting one management box on top of all the old management boxes like that you have. And that is very often what is happening. If you're familiar with OKRs, objectives and key results, for instance, very often, I mean, it's put on top of what is already in place, budgets and all the stupid stuff. And then not much changes really. A little bit more work to do, but nothing really changes. And also, this is not challenging for, I mean, executives like OKRs because they don't need to change the way they think. And they don't need to take away much stuff. Beyond Budgeting requires, again, changing how you think, and you need to take away stuff. It's not something you put on top of the old. It must replace the old. That's cool. Important.
Thank you very much. Professor Shimizu, if you have any comments in the last?
Yeah, now there are some companies are preparing to introduce the Beyond Budgeting systems, and I would like to help them, and also I keep talking about Beyond Budgeting.
Yep, and also in addition to that, there's non-degree program in Waseda University, so please.
Thank you. So the management accounting and FP&A talent development program. So this is the for business persons program, and we talk about Beyond Budgeting 1 time or 2 times. So if you're interested in this program, please contact me. Thank you.
So, thank you again for audience and also Mr. Bjarte and Professor Shimizu for this wonderful conversation. So we are looking forward to seeing you in the future here in the Regional Scrum Gathering again. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
各力集中公開尊敬勇気、各力集中公開尊敬勇気、各力集中